Did you know that 58% of employees say they would rather work for a leader who shows vulnerability than one who pretends to have all the answers? Or that companies with strong leadership are 12 times more likely to outperform their competitors? Leadership is more than just a title, it's a skill that can completely change your career and the success of your team. In this video, we're going to dive into 9 powerful leadership tactics that will help you build trust, inspire loyalty, and make a real impact. From listening more than you speak to embracing failure as a stepping stone, you'll learn how to lead with confidence, even if you're just starting out. Ready to discover the surprising strategies that the world's top leaders use every day? Stick around as we show you how to establish yourself as a leader who stands out in any crowd. Chapter 1. Lead by listening. The power of quiet influence. Leadership is often portrayed as the ability to speak confidently and assert authority. But one of the most powerful leadership strategies is actually the opposite: listening. Studies show that effective leaders spend about 70% of their time listening. That's right, listening, not speaking. Listening builds trust, strengthens relationships, and helps leaders understand their team's true needs. When you listen closely, you can pick up on things that others might miss. This not only makes you more aware of potential challenges but also helps you find innovative solutions. By listening, you show respect for others' opinions, which in turn fosters loyalty and a sense of belonging. As the famous leadership expert Stephen Covey put it, most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply. Listening is also crucial for problem solving. When you allow your team to voice their concerns, they often come up with solutions on their own. A study from the Harvard Business Review found that employees are 12 times more likely to come up with creative solutions when they feel heard. But how do you become a better listener as a leader? Start by giving people your full attention. Put away distractions like your phone and computer, and maintain eye contact. You don't have to solve every problem right away. Just being present can do wonders. When you listen more, your team will feel valued, and they'll be more likely to follow your lead. Leaders who excel in listening can often transform a difficult situation into an opportunity. If you're dealing with a conflict, listen to both sides of the story before making decisions. This shows your team that you value fairness and transparency. Another strategy to improve your listening skills is asking open-ended questions. Instead of, "Did you finish the report?" try, "How is the report going?" This invites deeper conversations and gives your team a chance to express their thoughts fully. Over time, this practice will help you better understand the dynamics of your team and make more informed decisions. The best leaders know that sometimes the most effective action is no action at all, just listening and reflecting. As Maya Angelou once said, "We all should know that diversity makes for a rich tapestry, and we must understand that all the threads of the tapestry are equal in value no matter their color." Chapter 2. Embrace vulnerability. Why imperfection builds trust. In a world where perfection is often seen as the goal, the best leaders understand that embracing vulnerability is key to building trust. Showing your flaws makes you more human, and that human connection is essential for strong leadership. According to research by Brené Brown, a leading expert on vulnerability, leaders who show their imperfections are able to create more trust, foster creativity, and enhance resilience within their teams. Leaders who are willing to be vulnerable don't shy away from admitting mistakes. Instead, they embrace them and learn from them. This openness encourages a growth mindset in their teams. When you model the behavior of learning from failure, your team will feel more comfortable taking risks and innovating. A great example of this is Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin. Branson has openly discussed his struggles with dyslexia, a vulnerability that could have been seen as a weakness in his career. Instead, he used it as an opportunity to inspire his team to embrace their own challenges. Vulnerability also helps to break down the power dynamics often present in leadership. When you're transparent about your own challenges, it's easier for your team to feel like they're on equal footing with you. This creates an environment of mutual respect, where everyone feels safe to contribute their ideas and share their experiences. In a study by Korn Ferry, 70% of executives said they would prefer to follow a leader who is humble and vulnerable, as opposed to one who always tries to appear perfect. Vulnerability encourages collaboration, fosters empathy, and creates a culture of support. When your team sees that you trust them enough to be vulnerable, they'll be more likely to trust you in return. The key to leveraging vulnerability is not overdoing it. It's important to find a balance between being open and maintaining your leadership authority. Being vulnerable doesn't mean oversharing or being unprofessional. It means showing that you're human, just like your team. Vulnerability also extends to showing empathy. If someone on your team is struggling, don't just brush it off. Take the time to understand their feelings and offer support. This personal touch will make you a more effective leader, and your team will respect you for it. As the famous author, John Maxwell, once said, "People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care." Vulnerability is a key part of showing that you care, and it's one of the most powerful ways to build lasting relationships in leadership. Chapter 3. The Art of Subtle Delegation. Empowering without micromanaging. One of the most crucial skills for any leader is the ability to delegate effectively. However, there's a fine line between delegating and micromanaging. Micromanagement can stifle creativity and lower morale, but subtle delegation can empower your team to take ownership and grow. So, how do you delegate without being overbearing? The first step is to trust your team. Research from Gallup shows that employees who feel trusted by their leaders are 70% more engaged and 50% more likely to stay at their jobs. Trusting your team means giving them the space to make decisions and learn from their mistakes. Effective delegation is about setting clear expectations and then stepping back. Instead of telling your team exactly how to do something, focus on the outcome. For example, if you're delegating a project, outline the goals, deadlines, and resources available. Allow your team to decide the best approach. Another key aspect of subtle delegation is knowing your team's strengths and weaknesses. By understanding each team member's abilities, you can assign tasks that align with their skills. This not only ensures that the work gets done efficiently but also helps your team develop their own strengths. While it's important to give your team autonomy, it's also crucial to offer support when needed. Make yourself available for guidance, but avoid stepping in too quickly. A great leader knows when to offer help and when to step aside and let their team handle it. A great example of subtle delegation is Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. Nadella is known for empowering his employees to take risks and innovate. He trusts them to make decisions and encourages them to experiment. This approach has led to significant breakthroughs at Microsoft, proving that subtle delegation can lead to extraordinary results. Delegating tasks also means letting go of control. If you feel the urge to micromanage, take a step back and remind yourself of the bigger picture. Micromanaging can result in burnout for both you and your team. Instead, trust that your team will rise to the occasion. As leadership expert Ken Blanchard said, "The key to successful leadership today is influence, not authority." Subtle delegation is an excellent way to influence your team positively, rather than exerting power over them. By mastering the art of subtle delegation, you'll create an environment where your team feels empowered and valued, leading to better performance and greater satisfaction. Don't forget to subscribe for more leadership insights and strategies that will help you lead with confidence and impact. Chapter 4. Fail Forward. Transforming setbacks into leadership lessons. Leadership is often defined by success, but great leaders know that failure is just as important, if not more so. The concept of failing forward refers to learning from setbacks and using those lessons to grow stronger. In fact, some of the world's best leaders attribute their success to overcoming failure. Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work," used his many failures as stepping stones to invent the light bulb. Failing forward requires a shift in mindset. Instead of viewing failure as something to avoid, view it as an opportunity to learn and evolve. A study by the Harvard Business Review found that leaders who embrace failure tend to create more innovative environments. This is because they encourage their teams to take risks and learn from mistakes without fear of punishment. One of the most effective ways to turn failure into a leadership lesson is by reflecting on what went wrong. Ask yourself, what could I have done differently? This reflective practice helps you develop the resilience needed to bounce back stronger. It also demonstrates to your team that failure is not the end of the road, but simply part of the journey. A great example of failing forward is Steve Jobs. When he was ousted from Apple in 1985, it seemed like the end of his career. But Jobs used this failure as a chance to start Next and buy Pixar, two ventures that later led to his return to Apple and the company's most successful years. Jobs' story shows that even when things seem bleak, failure can lead to greater opportunities. Leaders who fail forward also teach their teams to do the same. When you're transparent about your own failures and how you overcame them, your team will feel more comfortable sharing their own setbacks. This creates a culture where risk-taking and learning are prioritized over playing it safe. Research from the University of Pennsylvania shows that employees who see their leaders handle failure gracefully are more likely to adopt a similar approach. They are less likely to be afraid of making mistakes and more likely to innovate and take initiative. This helps create a work environment where creativity thrives. Moreover, failing forward isn't about just accepting failure, it's about bouncing back quickly. High-performing leaders develop a mindset where they can fail, analyze what went wrong, and quickly adjust their strategies. This speed of recovery sets top leaders apart. One powerful way to ensure you fail forward is to surround yourself with a strong support system. Trusted colleagues, mentors, and friends can help you gain perspective on what went wrong and how to move forward. As Winston Churchill famously said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." Chapter 5. Quiet Authority. How to command respect without raising your voice. The best leaders don't need to raise their voices to command respect. In fact, quiet authority is often more powerful than loud, assertive behavior. Quiet authority is about demonstrating competence, maintaining integrity, and leading by example. According to leadership expert James Hunter, the true measure of leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. People follow leaders not because they are forced to, but because they trust them. The best way to build trust is through consistency and reliability. When your actions consistently align with your words, people begin to respect you without needing constant reminders or commands. This is the essence of quiet authority. Another critical aspect of quiet authority is emotional intelligence, A. Leaders with high A are able to manage their emotions, understand others' feelings, and respond appropriately. Studies show that leaders with high A are twice as likely to be successful in leadership roles. By being calm under pressure and showing empathy in difficult situations, you inspire trust and respect. A great example of quiet authority is Barack Obama. Throughout his presidency, Obama was known for his calm demeanor and measured responses, even in the most stressful situations. His ability to remain composed, listen to others, and make thoughtful decisions earned him the respect of both his allies and opponents. Quiet authority also involves knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. In meetings or discussions, the most powerful leaders are often the ones who listen more than they talk. A study by the Center for Creative Leadership found that leaders who ask more questions than they answer are more likely to build strong teams and drive innovation. Another aspect of quiet authority is humility. The best leaders acknowledge that they don't have all the answers, and they are open to others' ideas and feedback. This humility makes you approachable and helps others feel comfortable sharing their insights. It's important to let your actions speak louder than your words, proving your value through your work and your interactions. Leaders with quiet authority understand that they are not in charge to assert power, but to serve their teams. This servant leadership approach focuses on the well-being and growth of others, rather than on personal gain or control. Robert K. Greenleaf, who coined the term servant leadership, once said, "The servant leader is servant first." Quiet authority also requires strong self-discipline. Leaders who command respect without raising their voices are able to manage their impulses and make decisions based on facts, not emotions. When you stay calm and collected, your team will feel more secure and follow your lead. Chapter 6. Reinvent the Wheel. How innovation fuels leadership. Leadership is about more than managing the present. It's about shaping the future. The best leaders are the ones who drive innovation, encouraging their teams to think outside the box and challenge the status quo. As Albert Einstein once said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." Innovation is a powerful tool for leaders who want to make a lasting impact. One of the most effective ways to foster innovation is by creating a culture that encourages experimentation. This means giving your team the freedom to try new ideas, even if they might fail. Google's famous 20% time, where employees are encouraged to spend 20% of their workweek on passion projects, is a great example of how innovation can be cultivated through trust and autonomy. Leaders who focus on innovation are also willing to take risks. According to the Harvard Business Review, companies that prioritize innovation are 50% more likely to outperform their competitors. This statistic proves that investing in new ideas is not just about being creative, it's a smart business strategy. Innovation also requires a mindset that embraces change. Leaders who are resistant to change often miss opportunities to grow and evolve. To stay ahead of the curve, great leaders continuously seek out new technologies, methodologies, and strategies that can improve their work and the work of their teams. A key part of leading innovation is empowering your team. As a leader, your role is not just to come up with ideas but to create an environment where your team feels confident in sharing their own. Encourage open communication and reward new ideas, no matter how big or small. When people feel safe to innovate, they are more likely to take creative risks that lead to breakthroughs. A great example of leadership-driven innovation is Elon Musk. Musk's companies, such as Tesla and SpaceX, are at the forefront of technological innovation because he encourages a culture of experimentation and risk-taking. Musk's willingness to challenge existing industries and push for revolutionary ideas has reshaped multiple fields. Leaders who prioritize innovation also need to be comfortable with ambiguity. Innovation is rarely a smooth, predictable process. It requires leaders to manage uncertainty and remain focused on long-term goals, even when immediate results are unclear. The best leaders know how to balance risk with reward. Innovation is not just about big ideas. It's about continuously improving existing systems and processes. Leaders who are always looking for ways to optimize and innovate, even in small ways, set their teams up for continuous improvement. As Peter Drucker, the father of modern management, said, "The best way to predict the future is to create it." Innovation is the key to creating that future, and as a leader, it's your job to inspire and guide your team on that path.